Right then, let's have a good look at the Skoda Octavia Mk2. Welcome to Cars by TV. Right, let's get started. This is our 2012 Skoda Octavia Mk2 1.4 petrol automatic with the elegant trim. We've had it about 9 years, so I'm quite familiar with it, but despite its age, it's done less than 25,000 miles, so it still looks, feels and drives as if it's more or less new. So let's have a quick look at the exterior styling. The Skoda Octavia Mk2, at least the specific model we have here, is quite restrained. It's elegant, it's subtle, there's nothing here that screams, "Look at me," and that's fine. It looks like what it is. An unpretentious, capable family workhorse. But what's it like on the inside? So here we are inside the Skoda Octavia Mk2, and the first impressions are positive. It's a nice place to be. Now this particular car does have one or two optional extras, including this black man-made leather upholstery, which I think looks rather nice. It's also practical because you can wipe it clean easily. We've also got this wooden trim on the door cards and dashboard, but let's focus more on the instrument cluster, which is all the way down there. Now if I turn the key, there we are, you'll see there's a screen in the center that tells you all kinds of things, including your fuel consumption, the current time, and over here there's your rev counter, and over there there's your speedometer. All very nice, all very simple. Over here in the middle of the dashboard, this is the infotainment system. Now this is a touchscreen. Now I know it may look to you like this is flickering, but it's not. That's just a trick of my camera. It's absolutely fine in real life. We also have a CD player. If you keep your music on SD card, you can plug it in down there. Moving down, this is the air conditioning and ventilation system. This car has dual zone climate control as well as heated front seats, but I don't need the heated seats on today because it's boiling hot in here. Now let's just turn the key off, save the battery a little. As for storage, there is plenty. We've got a good sized glove box. Let me put my hand in there to give you some sense of scale. Obviously door cards, they're quite a good size as well. There's a good sized compartment here for your bits and pieces. There's another one down there. There we go. There's more in the armrest, but not all that much. Just a little bit. And that is also where you'll find the auxiliary port if you need those. Now this armrest is cleverer than it first appears. You can slide it forward and back into a comfortable position, and it is also height adjustable. There we go, see? Raised it quite a bit. Nice little touch, eh? Over here, now this shows that someone thought about this car. Look, there's a little clip there. See that? Just attached to the windscreen. That is for connecting your parking ticket so it doesn't blow away. We also have rather large, almost unusually large wing mirrors, which are great on the motorway and when you're joining slip roads and things. On the door card down here, this is where you control the electric windows. This car has all-round electric windows. You control the electric mirrors there. The lights come on down there. But what I really want to do now is show you the gearbox, because that is rather clever. Now this car has 7-speed automatic transmission, and it's a fantastic versatile unit. So for example, look, slide it down to D for drive and you can cruise home in full auto. That's great if you're stuck in heavy traffic. However, if you want to change gear manually, you can. Look at this. I slide the lever over to the left, and then if I want to move down a single gear, I slide it down like so. And if I want to move up a single gear, I slide it up. Easy as that. And now look, that's back to D for drive. But there's more. Look down there. There's an S for sport. This makes the car accelerate a little faster. There we are in S mode. And what this means is that the gearbox will change gear at slightly higher engine revolutions. Let's just pop that back in P for park, because there's yet more to tell you about this gearbox. You can also change gear manually via paddles behind the steering wheel. This paddle here on the left, pull that once to move down a single gear, and if I can get the camera in there, there's another paddle on the right there, pull that once and you move up a single gear. What a fantastic gearbox. Okay, so we're in the back of the car, and once again, things are pretty decent here. There's plenty of width for two adults to sit in comfort, and if you don't mind getting a bit cozy, there's room for a third to squeeze in the middle. As for headroom, well, it's okay. I'm about 5'10", 5'11", and if I sit up straight, my hair slightly brushes on the ceiling, so there's enough room for most people. Have a look at this too. There's also a decent amount of legroom in the back of the Mk2 Skoda Octavia. I'm sitting behind the front passenger seat, which is all the way forward, and look at that. Plenty of room down there for my size 10s. In stark contrast, I've moved the driver's seat all the way back as if there was a particularly tall driver, and there's not a lot of room. I'll put my leg in for scale. There we go. But there is nonetheless enough for a short journey if necessary. And there are quite a few other nice little touches in the back of this car. Obviously there's storage pockets. Hang on. Milk. Okay, well apparently we need milk. I don't know how many years that's been tucked down there, but it can go back for now. We've also got individual rear vents, bit more storage, electric windows as I said earlier, but the main party trick back here, although it doesn't look like it at a glance, is the central armrest. Now obviously that folds down like so you can rest your weary arm after a long day's work, but also it opens up like so. What's this? An empty envelope. There's all kinds of stuff in this car I didn't know we had. But what I really want to show you here in the armrest is that there, because look, there's a handle and you can open it up like so and get the stuff in the boot, which is really handy. Also, if you've got long luggage that's too long for your boot, you can just poke it through this little hole into the back of the car. That's a really nice little touch. As for the boot itself, it's absolutely cavernous, so you might as well move in. I have genuinely had less comfortable hotel rooms. Now, as well as being spacious, the boot has one or two handy little extras you don't get in every car that make life easier. There's this hook, for example, on the bottom of the parcel shelf. You might use that to tie down a plastic bag to stop it rolling around. Something similar over here, a double hook this time with a strap. This is replicated on the near side of the car as well. You've got a net down there to contain de-icer, whatever other junk you got. Also, look, these are the tie-down points. Nothing special about these, but they're actually accessible. On many cars, those are buried underneath the carpet. And over here, we have this big trapdoor that I showed you from the other side. Under the bonnet we have a 1.4 litre turbocharged petrol engine that produces about 122 horsepower, and as I said earlier, that's tuned to 7-speed automatic transmission, which is down there somewhere. Now, unlike many cars of this sort of era, there's a reasonable amount of space to actually get your hands around the engine bay if you need to do something. That's quite refreshing. As for the basic checks, well, they're easy enough to get to as well. The engine oil is here. This one here is the windscreen washer fluid. That is the expansion tank for the cooling system, and that one there at the back is your brake fluid. And when you want to check the battery, it's in this little insulated box here. There we are. That's a new battery actually, because the other one died. Okay then, well, let's take this Skoda Octavia Mk2 out on the road and find out what it's like to drive. So engine on, into D for drive, handbrake off. it is one of those mechanical handbrakes rather than one of the newer electrical ones. Now, is anyone coming? No. Good, that means we can go. There we are. Now, this is a family car, so it's not going to be the ultimate in sporty handling, but nonetheless, for what it is, it really does handle very nicely indeed. You can certainly chuck it around a bit if you feel so inclined, particularly if you've got some good tyres on it. The steering, it's nicely weighted. It's on the light side, I'd say. It does get a little bit weightier at times, but overall that is perfectly acceptable. The brakes, now the brakes on this car are fairly typical of any modern Skoda, Volkswagen, anything really from the Volkswagen group. There's not an enormous amount of travel in the pedal before they come on with some ferocity. So if you're used to a different type of car, maybe something from Japan or Ford, that sort of thing, the brakes may initially feel a little grabby, but you get used to it quick enough. Now, I mentioned earlier that we have a 1.4 litre petrol engine in this car, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that's not a lot for a car of this size, but it's actually far more impressive, far more responsive and far quicker than you might think. I'll show you. Okay, so we're sitting at the side of a road which has a high speed limit and very little traffic, and when that traffic is gone, which it appears to have done now, I'll accelerate and show you that this car picks up absolutely fine. So I've put the gearbox into sport mode. Let's just bring us to a stop for now. There's no one behind. And accelerate. 30, 40, 50, and 60 miles per hour. So you can see, even though it's only got a 1.4 litre engine, this car has plenty of poke, and it certainly won't leave you disappointed. As well as handling nicely if you want to drive enthusiastically, the Skoda Octavia Mk2 is comfortable if you just want to cruise. The ride is decent, for example, so it doesn't crash through potholes. It's also got good supportive seats all round. I can sit here all day and all night quite happily charging up the motorway. And there's little things that you don't get universally in every car, like good visibility. There's plenty of glass here, so it's easy to see where you're placing the car on the road, and it's easy to park as well, partly because of those enormous wing mirrors, and also this particular one has parking sensors all the way around. Now, I'll just quickly show you a few more things you'll like about the front of this car. Under the passenger seat, look at this. There's a little cupboard. There it is, opened up. So you can store all kinds of things, including whatever that is. Let's put that away. If you want to operate your cruise control, you do so via this wand on the left behind the steering wheel. The other wand, which I'm going to struggle to get the camera down there, but that one there, that is for the windscreen wipers. And of course, as this is a fairly modern car, you got all kinds of buttons on the steering wheel. The ones on the left control the audio system, and the ones on the right, well, they do all kinds of things. So how do we summarize the Skoda Octavia Mk2? Well, it's a fantastic family car. It's good to drive, it's comfortable on a long journey, there's an enormous boot and enough space in the back for your kids, dog, mother-in-law, or whatever. It also just feels properly screwed together. It feels built to last, and that is not the case with every car in this class. Now, if you have a look online and search for this type of car for sale, you'll see they're also fantastic value for money. You really don't pay an awful lot for what you get. Skoda has done very well. Now, I'm curious to know what you think about the Skoda Octavia Mk2. So why not pop down to the comment section, get typing, tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. You may also like to subscribe to my channel because, well, I got all kinds of good stuff coming up.